Hey guys, my name is Gabby, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be filming my top 10 favorite movies of 2018. I apologize that this video is coming out a little late because I originally intended for this video to come out before the end of 2018, but you know, there were so many videos that I wanted to put out at the end of the year, and another reason why I was pushing it off for so long is because I had so many movies I still needed to see, and unfortunately I still haven't seen all the movies I would have liked to have seen in 2018, and some of those include Creed 2, Vice, Green Book, Wildlife, and Upgrade. Those are the 5 movies that might have made this list that I haven't seen yet. 2018, I feel like, was a year of really good movies, but not any like really great movies, at least in my opinion. Like, I feel like 2018 was a pretty good year for movies, but not like the best. Like, I feel like the previous years have had a lot better movies. And I also wanted to mention some honorable-ish mentions that didn't make it into my top 10, but I think are still really great movies. And some of those are Ready Player One, Sorry to Bother You, Game Night, Mission Impossible Fallout, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, Thoroughbreds, Tully, The Favorite, and Deadpool 2. Those are all movies that I really enjoyed, but again, they didn't quite make it into my top 10. My top 10 is totally subjective because I know like everyone has different tastes and not everyone's gonna agree with this list, obviously, because we're all different and we all have different tastes, and I don't want to get any hate for my list because I'm not gonna hate on your list, and this is just my top 10 favorite movies that I saw in 2018 that, like, when I think back on 2018, these are the 10 movies that are gonna come to mind first. Coming in at number 10 is Bohemian Rhapsody. This movie, especially lately since the Golden Globes, has been getting a lot of hate and a lot of controversy around this movie, but the reason why I love this movie so much is because Queen was such a huge part of my childhood, because my dad is just such a huge Queen fan and I was always listening to Queen's music growing up, and so seeing this movie was like really special for me. Rami freaking kills it as Freddie Mercury, okay? He is amazing in this movie. Like, he is so good, and I think that Golden Globe is totally deserving. Like, he's amazing. Seeing these songs performed and like just come to life, like seeing Bohemian Rhapsody, like the structure of that song when they're actually creating it, like it was just such a cool experience, and especially that like the last concert piece at the end of this movie, like it was just so cool. It was like larger than life. Like, I felt so happy when I left the movie theater after seeing this. Like, number 9 is gonna be Avengers Infinity War, and this movie is in my top 10 because I couldn't not have this movie in my top 10 because I just love the Marvel Cinematic Universe so much, and seeing this movie was like absolutely insane because it's just like seeing all your favorite heroes all in one movie. And I know everyone's talking about this movie, so you're probably sick and tired of hearing about it, and like low-key I'm kind of sick and tired of hearing about it too, but I just have to mention it because like watching this movie in theaters was a freaking experience. Like, it was crazy. I loved the scenes with Thor and like the Guardians, and I really loved the scenes with Doctor Strange and Iron Man and Spider-Man. I think those were like my favorite parts of the movie. But then even like the fight scenes that went down on Wakanda, like, oh my god. Number 8 on my list is Love, Simon. Absolutely freaking love this movie, and it made me cry, and I went and saw it twice in theaters. I loved this even more than the book, and the book is one of my all-time favorite books. Nick Robinson is the perfect Simon. Okay, he's perfect. Like, I loved this movie so much, and it was so great for me to be able to see an LGBT main character in like a mainstream movie. I fucking love this movie so much. It was cute as shit. It's like the perfect rom-com. Alright, next up, number 7 on my list is Annihilation. This is a sci-fi kind of like horror movie almost that really got under my skin. I read the book for this in 2018 as well, and I wasn't a huge fan of the book, but this movie, like, oh my god. Natalie Portman is fucking amazing in this movie, first of all. Like, she's part of the reason why I enjoyed it so much, because I just really fucking love Natalie Portman. This movie got under my skin, and I felt so disturbed and unsettled when I finished this movie. Like, I literally felt sick to my stomach, like, not gonna lie. Like, it just really got under my skin, and I did not enjoy my first viewing of this movie. It was just, like, it was too much for me. I was like, holy shit. Like, it was creepy. Like, some of the scenes were just so, like, graphic. They, like, stayed in my memory. Like, it was really, like, giving me nightmares and shit. But then, you know, after I had time to like sit on this more, I just really like, I appreciate the freaking art of this movie. Like, this movie's freaking beautiful, okay? And like, yeah, it's creepy and disturbing, and I feel like it should be because the story itself is really creepy and disturbing, and like it should make you feel that way. Fucking great. It's really great, and it's so unique for a sci-fi. Like, I've never seen anything like this quite like kind of story before. It's just, oh my god, it was so good. And it was different from the book, but it was good different because I didn't really enjoy the book. So number 6 on my list is A Star Is Born. This movie made me sob. I cried so hard at the end of this movie. It takes a lot for me to cry like that in movies. Like, I mean, I usually like tear up, you know, and whatever, but like for me to actually sob, like I was holding back my like Lady Gaga in this movie, like holy fuck, she is so good in this movie. Like, I was so sad that she didn't win at the Golden Globes for this role because she is so good in this movie, and I absolutely loved watching her on stage in this movie. Like, it was just so good. This movie was freaking fantastic. The music is so good in this movie. Like, Shallow is one of the best songs from 2018 in my opinion. It's just so powerful, and like seeing that song performed on the stage for the first time in that movie, like it gave me fucking chills everywhere, all over my body. Number 5 on my list is Searching. This one came out of nowhere, okay? Like, I wasn't even planning on watching this movie until I saw it on some other people's 2018 best of the year movie list. Searching, like, what the heck, that weird found footage movie? Like, what is that? And holy fuck, this movie is so good. And I usually don't like anything that's like found footage movies because I usually find them really cheesy and just like not very well done. But this one was so cool, and it was so well done, and I was crying in the first 5 minutes. And basically this story follows this dad, and it like the entire story and movie takes place inside of like technology and like inside of a computer. So like when the movie starts, it opens up like windows on his computer and you see like a mouse moving and clicking on things, and like that's how the story's told. It's all through like webcams, like FaceTimes, like anything through the computer is how the story's told. So it's like I've never seen storytelling done quite like this, and it was done so well, and it was so cool. And it's about this dad who his daughter goes missing, and so it's like a teenage girl has gone missing, and then he's trying to figure out what happened to her, and he's trying to find information on her laptop. I wasn't expecting to love this one as much as I did, and I was so invested in this story, and I was so hooked. I was like, I thought I knew where it was going, and then it just like threw in all these plot twists, and I was like, what? Alright, number 4 on my list is Black Panther. This is another movie that the first time I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's pretty good, and then the second time I saw it, I was like, this is so freaking amazing. I don't know why sometimes it takes me a second viewing to really appreciate a movie, you know? Not only did I love all the characters in this movie, like I really love Black Panther, I love the villains in this movie, I love his sister, and I love all the badass female characters, and I love like Wakanda as a whole. Like the fucking soundtrack in this movie is amazing, and I've been playing it all year long. Like, I just really loved, oh my god, like that scene in Korea when he's like on top of the car, like, oh my god, it's so iconic and so amazing. And Michael B. Jordan in this movie is also freaking great, so good, and I always want to rewatch it. Like, I always find myself being like, I really want to watch Black Panther. Coming in at number 3 is Incredibles 2. Like, I know I'm such a child, but I fucking love this movie. I love this movie. First movie, The Incredibles, was one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid. Like, I literally, like, not exaggerating here, I would come home from elementary school and watch The Incredibles every day. Me and my sister were obsessed with this movie as a kid, okay? I just turned into a kid again watching this movie. Like, I was so excited. It was so great, and I feel like Incredibles 2 was even better than the first movie, which is saying a lot because I fucking love the first movie so much. This movie was so good, and I loved seeing Elastigirl like be the hero and then him taking care of the kids. It was such a like great role reversal. Everything about this movie, it was so great. I loved the villain in this movie. It was actually really creepy, I thought, and like even I got really like creeped out and like, ooh, like trying to cover my eyes in some scenes. Like, I was scared. It was just so good, and everything I wanted it to be and more. Coming in at number 2 is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This movie kind of also took me by surprise with how much I loved it. I was so shocked by how much fun I had watching this movie. Like, this was one of my favorite theater experiences in 2018. Like, I had so much fun. It was so refreshing to see a new Spider-Man story. Like, Spider-Man is one of my favorite superheroes, and to see his story told in another way and like introducing Miles Morales into this world, it was just so much fun. And like the animation in this movie is so cool, and it's unlike anything I've ever seen before in animated movies. Like the style of the animation, it's just so cool to look at. The soundtrack for this movie is really, really great as well. Like, I freaking loved it. And that song Sunflower has been on repeat like every day since that movie. I just had such a great time, and the comedy is so on point in this movie. Like, this movie's hilarious, and I just really, really loved it, and I really want to watch it again. Like, it was so good. All right, and my number one movie of 2018 is A Quiet Place. I know I'm kind of such a basic bitch for picking this as my number one, but you guys, I loved this movie so much, and this was my favorite theater experience of 2018. Like, I'm so glad I saw this movie in theaters, because I've never really experienced something like this in theaters. It barely has any dialogue and any sound in the entire movie, and like, I was holding my fucking breath like the entire movie. Everyone in the theater was holding their breath. Like, it was the quietest movie experience I've ever had. Like, it was so crazy. This movie, like, for barely how little of dialogue they had, it made me care so much about these characters, and like, knowing John Krasinski directed this is so awesome, and John Krasinski and Emily Blunt are just so cute in this movie, and I think their real life chemistry definitely came through in these characters because they were so cute. And I love that this is like an apocalypse movie. Like, oh, I love apocalypse movies, like end of the world movies, aliens. Oh my god, I'm here. Like, that's like one of my favorite movie trope things. It's like aliens, end of the world. Oh my god, yes, I'm here for that. I love it. And so seeing it done so well in this movie was really exciting. I loved the idea of like aliens that are blind. Like, it was just so cool, and I love that this family was so smart. Like, it's so refreshing to watch an apocalyptic movie where the characters are actually really smart and they think of like everything. Like, with the whole lights, like the light systems that they know when someone's in trouble and they don't have to like scream at each other, they just like shut the lights red. Eating on leaves instead of like plates because it's so quiet, and like their whole thing with the sand, like they put sand everywhere they go so when they walk it's like quiet. Like, just everything that they think of is so smart. I loved that one of their children was deaf in this movie because it made it even more like every time she had a scene, the audio would go like mute, like the way that she would hear it. And I thought that was really interesting and really well done, and really like showed people how, you know, intense this is for their family. Like, the reason why I'm picking this as my number one is because I feel like when I look back on 2018, A Quiet Place is gonna be the first movie that comes to mind. Like, I fucking loved A Quiet Place. Like, that's the first movie I'm gonna think of. So that is all for my top 10 movies of 2018. I'm sure not all of you agree with this list. I mean, I'd be surprised if anybody else did, but let me know, what are your favorite movies of 2018? Are there any movies that I didn't mention at all in this video that you think I need to check out from 2018? Yeah, and I mean, as I said, I do still have a few that I'm planning on watching soon, and I am planning on making another what I've watched video that I do in that series soon, probably before the end of January, just to catch up on everything that I saw at the end of 2018. And thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I will see you guys soon with a new video.